ESPN 961, it is Way of the Warrior, your MMA connection on Friday nights. It is always our pleasure to join him back to the show, and joining us right now, Scott Coker from Strikeforce. Scott, how are you?
Doing great. How are you guys?
You are having an amazing year already, which is fun to say 2 weeks into 2011.
Yeah, it's been some pretty big announcements for us, and it leads off with the Challenger show we had on the 7th, and then next Saturday we have a big fight with Nick Diaz, Evangelista Cyborg, Robbie Lawler, and Jacare, which is, I'm looking forward to that fight, as well as, Herschel's return and Roger Gracie's return. But as you guys know, on the 12th in the Diaz Center in New Jersey, it's going to be all about the heavyweights, and that's just going to be a great thing to watch.
Now, you're kicking this off with two huge fights, Fedor and Bigfoot Silva, obviously, and Karatanov, who looked amazing on New Year's Eve in Dream, taking on Andrei Arlovsky. Talk a little bit about how the whole process came together, because this had to be some sort of weird contract Jenga to get all these 8 guys aligned for this tournament.
Well, you can imagine, right, trying to get 8 fighters, 8 managers, all having different wants and desires, wanting to fight this guy and that guy. But the reality was, it wasn't so much the fighters, but it was the timing of the fighters and availability of the fighters. For instance, Fedor wanted to fight on January 29th, and we said, no, we can't put it together that soon. And so he said, I want to fight now. And that was part of his deal, is that he wants to fight yesterday.
Right.
So that was part of his deal. So we knew he had to fight in the early part of the bracket. And then with Fabricio Verdum, we knew that he had to fight in the second round of the quarterfinals, because he was injured and he's coming out that surgery. And I asked him, are you ready to fight in February? And they said, no, we need another 2 months. So we said, okay, fine. And then when I was in Japan, Alistair said, look, I've already committed to the tournament, but I want to fight Fabricio Verdum. So that kind of put him in the second part of that bracket, and he's going to have to wait. So that put that bracket together. And then as far as how we end up with the Karatanov and the Andrei Arlovsky fight, Alistair and Karatanov are both from Golden Glory now, so they had to fight on opposite sides, and so it just kind of flushed out the way that it flushed out.
Which is great for the fans, because those of us who love the heavyweight tournament, and those of us who understand what this looks like, because it's reminiscent of another organization from Japan who used to put on these awesome Grand Prix. This is, for my inner pride geek, I can't even wait for this whole thing to kind of play out, because it's 8 amazing fighters in an amazing lead-off bracket. Like, you didn't separate the great guys to make sure that they match up later on. You put them all out there in the front to see what happens, and I think that's an excellent way to run the tournament.
Guys, and here's the thing. You know what? It's the issue really with that is, and I just want to explain myself real quick on that, is that people say, oh, you should have had, separated the brackets and this and that. And you know what? Now I can say, well, you know what? I thought it was going to be the Patriots and the Falcons. Right?
Yes.
I mean, if somebody were to ask me a week ago, I'd say, oh, Patriots and the Falcons are going to the Super Bowl for sure. So that's the thing, is that you never know. And in the tournament format, people get hyped up. People, rise to the occasion, and there will be either a former star or a past star emerging. And very rarely in all my years of working K1, their tournaments, did I see the finals that I thought I would have seen if I was to pick in the very beginning. So these tournament formats, you never know. And it's going to be great, and the fans will get to see the fights that they want to see. Is my belief with the way that we pair these guys up.
Oh, even if you don't watch a second round, you get to see most of the fights that you want to see, and then these amazing fights that are going to come out of that. Talk about, though, I read that you may be taking this overseas.
We've been having conversations with some Japanese companies, Dream, of course, one of them, about coming to Japan, because I just feel like, you're right, this was kind of has that reminiscent of that Pride tournament back in the day, and Alistair's a much different fighter than he was back when he was fighting in Pride. Barnett's a matured fighter. Fedor, honestly, I think that he's going to come out just looking to avenge his loss against Fabricio, and he's going to bring it on the 12th. So he's going to come out guns a-blazing. But when you look at the roster, these guys are all stars in Japan. Except for a few of them. And so we thought, you know what? This is a World Grand Prix. Why don't we take it to Canada? Why don't we take it to Japan? Why don't we take maybe a leg to Europe? And so, we're starting to have dialogue about making it a world tournament.
And that's obviously why you haven't nailed down a day for April, because you're trying to maybe put it someplace like that?
Yeah, I was up till, 4 in the morning last night trying to Well, I was until 4 in the morning talking to Japan last night, so, let's see what can happen. I mean, there's no guarantees. Things move slower there. And, they said, God, if we only had a year's time frame, we could have been fantastic. But, the reality is we got to go. We got to go now. So, we have some contingency plans in place. But, going to Japan would be an amazing leg of this tournament, and I could just see the whole thing unfolding now.
Going to be awesome. It kicks off on February 12th. January 29th, though, like you said, you've got another huge bout. Nick Diaz and Cyborg, Jacare and Robbie Lawler, and Roger Gracie and Trevor Prangley is going to be a great bout. If people aren't very familiar with Trevor Prangley, the dude is a beast, and that'll be an amazing fight. And I just have to say kudos for you for deciding to give Ovince St. Preux some time off from not fighting every 3 weeks.
Guys, that was his choice. He wanted to do it, and he will have a little bit of a break here now. But I tell you, he's a talented kid, and he's very athletic. And as long as he keeps improving and staying in that gym and training and getting better, I mean, this guy is going to be, I think, one of the guys that you see on the big show. I think in the very near future. He
and Tyrone Woodley are the guys I got my eye on in 2011. But I will say this about Ovince: you guys better watch out, because he would probably try to enter this heavyweight tournament if somebody gets injured. So.
That's true. There's been some lighter weight guys that have, mostly light heavyweights that said, hey, I want to be in that tournament. Let me fight that tournament. I go, you got to gain like 30 pounds to be in the tournament, so let's not do that.
If this is a huge success for you, would you think about doing it in other weight classes in the same sort of format?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, I believe in the tournament format for mixed martial arts. I mean, that's how mixed martial arts started, right?
Yep,
it was
absolutely.
A tournament format, and that was kind of similar to the K1, where all the 8 fighters fought in one night. And now I don't believe in that for MMA, because people get hurt.
Yep.
And hard to continue, but we definitely will take a strong look at it. I think Showtime's going to take a strong look at it, and after this tournament, we'll sit down and evaluate. But it'd be nice to have some more tournaments in different weight classes. Scott
Coker joining us from Strikeforce. It has been a pleasure to talk to you, as it always is. Have a wonderful week. Have a great card next weekend, and we cannot wait for this thing to kick off on February 12th.
Thanks, buddy.
Take care.